Welcome to the Aging Information Committee's webinar on cybersecurity and how to lock down your smartphone with our director of our NCRO website, Jackie Robinson. Today, she's going to be talking about how to secure both either your Android or your iPhone. And we will be taking some questions. So if you look at the little twisty, there should be a little arrow pointing question. If you have a question, feel free to type it in at any time, and we'll take those at the end. If it's a very specific or something that we don't feel everybody else might be interested in, we'll get back to you after the webinar with a direct answer. And with that, I will turn this over to Jackie.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on cybersecurity. I'm Jackie Robinson, and today we're going to break down the basics of staying safe online in plain English. No tech jargon, no stress. Cybercrime is rising, and retirees are one of the biggest targets. Scammers think older adults are easy marks. So today we're going to prove them wrong. By the end of this session, you will know the simplest things you can do to protect yourself, how to change settings on your iPhone or Android, how to recognize scams before they happen, and how to stay safe without being afraid of technology. So let's talk about what is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, keyword security, simply means protecting your money, your identity, your accounts, and your devices. So why are retirees targets? Attackers target retirees like us because we tend to have savings. We have money. We may be less familiar with fast-changing technology. We are polite, so we answer calls and messages. Scammers use fear and urgency. So here are 5 common attack methods, and some of these you may have heard of. Phishing emails, fake emails, pretending to be Amazon, your bank, Social Security, IRS, FedEx, etc. Smishing texts, fake text messages with dangerous links. Phishing phone calls, such as, "This is Microsoft," or "Your bank account is frozen," or something like, "There's a package waiting for you." Fake friend family scams. "Grandma, I'm in trouble," or messages pretending to be someone you know. Tech support scams, pop-ups saying, "Your computer is infected, call now." Some of you may have seen the movie The Beekeeper with Jason Strahan and Felicia Rashad. And in the beginning of that movie, she is on her computer looking at her personal pension account and also another account that she was the executor for. It had $2 million in it. And she got a pop-up on the computer that said it was infected. What eventually happened was the scammers used a sense of urgency and depleted all of her money out of her personal pension accounts and also out of the nonprofit account that she was responsible for. It didn't end well for her in that movie, but that is an example of how scammers use sense of urgency. So if you haven't seen that movie, that's a good one, The Beekeeper. Okay. So now the goal for scammers is always the same, to make you act quickly. There are pillars to cyber safety, and the 3 pillars provide a simple, reliable way to stay safe online by guiding how you respond to emails, texts, and phone calls, by slowing down, verifying information, and limiting access. You greatly reduce the chance of falling for scams and protect your personal and financial information. So let's look at these 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is to slow down. Scammers use urgency. Act now. Your account will be closed. Click this link immediately. Always pause, because they hate that. They hate when you pause and they have to go into another tactic to give you a sense of urgency. Pillar number 2, verify. Before you start clicking anything, call the company using the number on their website. Contact the person through another method. Check the sender's email address. You've seen some email addresses like I can't believe it's butter at xyz23456.ae. Well, we know that is not a legitimate email address. So check the sender's email address. Pillar number 3 is to limit access. And that's what we're going to be getting into today, because the fewer people and apps that can access your information, the safer your smartphone becomes, the harder it is for scammers to get in. So let's talk about why smartphones are a primary target. So before I get into showing you the settings, let me say this about why they are targets. Smartphones are a primary target for cyber criminals because they contain a large amount of personal, financial, and private information in one place. Like you, most people use their phones for banking, for email, for shopping, for social media, for text messaging, which makes them a single point of access to multiple accounts. Smartphones are also always connected to the internet and are used frequently throughout the day, increasing the chances that a scam message, a fake call, or malicious link will be seen and acted upon quickly. Cyber criminals know that people tend to trust messages received on their phones, making smartphones an especially effective and valuable target. So here's how privacy and security settings reduce scam and fraud risk. Features such as blocking unknown callers, controlling app permissions, and enabling two-factor authentication make it much harder for scammers to reach you or steal your personal information. So when these settings are properly configured, your phone acts like a first line of defense, silently filtering out threats before they ever reach you and reducing the chances of accidental clicks, data exposure, or financial loss. So We're almost there to the actual setting of your phone. So there will be 10 smartphone settings that you can use. We'll go through features like blocking unknown callers, controlling app permissions, enabling two-factor authentication, lockdown location, and safety and emergency. All right. Let's do it. So first up are 5 iPhone settings. And for these demonstrations, I use the iPhone 15 Max. Understand that privacy and security on your smartphone may be a little different than what you might see, but privacy and security is pretty basic across all smartphones, all versions of these types of phones. First up, two-step authentication. Now, these will have a video that outline how these settings happen. On the right side of the video, you will see the actual steps that you would take to set up these settings, okay? So the first one, which is the two-factor authentication, often called 2FA, is an extra layer of protection for your online accounts. After you enter your password, the account asks for a second proof that it's really you, usually a one-time code sent to your phone or email. Even if a scammer steals your password, they cannot get into your account without that second code. Think of it like having both a key and a deadbolt lock on your door. It makes your account much harder to break and greatly reduces the risk of fraud. Silence unknown callers. Silence unknown callers is an iPhone feature that automatically sends calls from numbers not saved in your contacts directly to voicemail. This helps reduce interruptions from robocalls, scam calls, and telemarketers while still allowing legitimate callers to leave a message. Your phone will continue to ring for people you know, recent outgoing calls, and suggestions from Siri. But by limiting real-time contact and unknown callers, this setting lowers the chance of being pressured. And sometimes we get pressured by these scammers, and it gives you time to review messages calmly and safely before responding. I like that one because if you're not in my contacts, you go straight to voicemail. The call goes straight to voicemail. Now, I know sometimes you might be searching for something on your phone for shopping. You might be looking for a backup battery. And then the next thing you know, after you leave that website, you're bombarded on your phone with all kinds of advertisements for a backup battery. Well, why is that? It's because you may have tracking and Apple advertising not set to not bother you. So as a retiree, I find it important to change my tracking and Apple advertising settings because they limit how much personal information is shared behind the scenes. These settings reduce targeted ads, make it harder for scammers to build profiles about me, and give me more control over my privacy. By turning off unnecessary tracking and Apple advertising, I'm reducing my exposure to fraud and protecting my digital footprint. Lock down location services. Now this is really an important one, okay? Because locking down location services is important because it helps protect my privacy and reduces how much personal information is shared without my knowledge. Many apps collect location data even when they don't really need it. And that information can be misused or sold. By limiting location access to only essential apps and allowing it only while an app is in use, I reduce my exposure to tracking, targeted scams, and data breaches. For retirees, this simple step adds a strong layer of protection and gives greater control over when and how our movements are shared. So I can say an app can track while in use, or all the time, or never. So you need to go through your listing of apps and see what type of setting you have for them to be able to track your location. Now, iPhones, Apple offers what's called the complete iPhone safety check. And this one has a lot of settings in it in one place. So running the complete iPhone safety check is important because it gives me a clear, simple way to see exactly what information my phone is sharing and with whom. It helps me quickly review my location, my passwords, app access, and account security all in one place. So for retirees like me, this is especially valuable because it reduces the risk of scams, unauthorized access, and accidental data sharing. Safety check puts me back in control of my iPhone, strengthens my privacy, and gives me peace of mind knowing my personal and financial information is better protected. If you have an Apple phone or Apple devices, you have an Apple account, an Apple ID. And that ID is the key to your iPhone, iCloud, photos, and personal data. So you need to protect it by using a strong, unique password and turning on two-factor authentication, which adds an extra verification step. Be cautious of emails or texts claiming to be from Apple. Apple will never ask for your password. So regularly review your security settings and keep your device updated to stay protected. And you can see from this video here, the complete safety check has 3 steps that allows you to do things like add emergency SOS, verify your passwords, check your account settings. And so it's convenient to have this all in one place. Now, those were 5 steps, and I'm giving you an extra bonus, which is this one is really important to enable your system updates. So I encourage all of you to turn on automatic system updates because they quietly protect your phone in the background. These updates fix security weaknesses that scammers try to exploit. So by keeping your device current, you reduce your risk of fraud, protect your personal information, and avoid unnecessary stress without remembering to do so. I know sometimes people get those notifications that an update is available and they might bypass it, but there are developers that are working to keep their devices safe and to keep you safe. And it's very important that you run those system updates. And so if you don't want to do it manually or remember to do it, just go ahead and go into the settings and set it up so that it runs automatically. So those were the iPhone settings. And now we're going to get into the Android settings. For the Android settings, I use the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. All right. We like to add apps to our phones, and we go out to the Google Play Store. And at one time, developers, anybody could add a app to the Google Play Store, and we considered it not as safe as the Apple Store, because Apple had a tendency to vet their developers heavily. Well, Google now has also provided extra security by allowing you to enable Google Play Protect. So it's always a good idea to make sure that Google Play Protect is enabled, because it acts like a built-in security guard for your Android phone. It automatically scans apps before and after installation to look for harmful behavior and removes unsafe apps before they can cause damage. So by keeping Play Protect turned on, you reduce the risk of downloading malicious apps that could steal personal information or lead to fraud without needing to do anything extra. Just turn it on and let it do its thing in the background. Now let's talk about blocking spam and scam calls on my Android. So as a retiree, I've learned that spam and scam calls can be stressful and confusing and annoying, okay? So blocking these calls on my Android helps me avoid unwanted interruptions and keeps me from falling for scams that try to trick me out of my money or personal information. It gives me peace of mind knowing that most suspicious calls won't even ring on my phone, so I can stay focused on what matters without worrying about fraud or harassment. Disable app downloads from unknown sources. Now, the significance of disabling app downloads from unknown sources. Think about that for a minute. So sometimes you don't know where these apps are coming from. They might contain malicious code. So this protective step is vital in shielding your system from malware and other cyber threats that can jeopardize sensitive data. By limiting the downloads to trusted sources, we enhance our defenses against malicious attack and fortify our overall security posture, okay? This straightforward precaution is a key strategy to mitigate vulnerabilities and bolster our security measures. So you have, let me go back and look at this one again. Let's see, here we go. Yeah, this is from unknown sources. Scroll through, and there are all kinds of other settings that at some point you could go and take a look at. But these are apps from unknown sources. And so there are, you can see that some of them are auto disabled. All of them are turned off. All of these apps cannot download any apps unless I give it permission, even Chrome. And so if I find that I needed to download an app for Chrome that has been vetted and it won't let me do it, I can always come back in these settings and turn Chrome on to be able to download apps. Now, this is also a very important one, which is set app permissions to ask every time. So you have, every time you download an app, by default, these apps will have access to your location, to your camera, and to your microphone unless you tell it not to give it access to those three areas on your device. So you can set it to ask every time, or allow while in use, or never, okay? It puts you in control of what information your phone shares. Many apps request access to your location, to your camera, to your microphone, to your contacts, even some apps that really don't truly need to have that access, okay? And so by approving access automatically, you run the risk of data misuse, tracking, or fraud. So this simple setting helps protect your privacy and prevents apps and scammers from quietly accessing personal information in the background. You may not even know that some of these apps have access to your location, your camera, and your microphone. So that's also one you need to go and check and see. You may have downloaded an app 2 years ago when you first got your phone, and it has access to permissions that they don't necessarily need to have. So you can set it to allow when using, only when I need it at every time, or not allowed at all. Now, I know you all are familiar with the Life Alert necklace, which is important, especially for seniors and retirees, where you've fallen and you can't get up. Well, your iPhone or your Android rather, has a safety and emergency setting where you can select a contact to be notified by clicking the side button either 3 times or 4 times, alerting them to an emergency. And so having the setting of safety and emergency gives you peace of mind knowing that help is just a button away, by setting that side button to click 3 times if something unexpected happens. If I fall, if I feel ill, this feature allows emergency services and trusted contacts to be notified quickly. It also securely stores important medical information that first responders may need. Yes, it's important for, especially if you live alone, to have a medical history document. Some people type it out and have it on their refrigerator. Some people create a PDF and they have it in their phone. But you can add it to the safety and emergency in your Android, so that people will have an idea of who your doctor is, who your next contact person is, what type of medication you've been taking. That's the medical history document. Okay. Now, just like for the iPhone, here's a bonus slide to enable automatic system and security updates. It's always important to enable automatic system and security updates because, again, it fixes quietly security weaknesses that scammers try to exploit. So when updates are turned on, your phone protects itself in the background without requiring technical knowledge or extra effort. So this simple setting helps guard your personal information, keeps your device running smoothly, and significantly reduces the risk of fraud, malware, and unauthorized access, giving you peace of mind every single day. Now we're down to the closing where I will share some very important tips for everyday habits to stay safe online. These are things that you can come back and review and keep in mind as you're doing things to secure your smartphone and your devices. And that is never click links from text messages you were not expecting. Don't answer unknown calls. Let voicemail handle it. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a scammer trying to scam you out of your money. Use strong, unique passwords for your email, bank, Amazon, online shopping. When you set up these accounts, use unique, strong passwords, something that the scamming bots cannot easily detect. If you can't remember your password, use a password manager like an Apple keychain or Google Password Manager. Ignore scary pop-ups because 99% of the time they are actually fake. Don't pay anyone who demands gift cards or wire transfers. Before sending money, verify who is asking you for money, even to family members. Delete emails asking for personal information. That's none of their business. Who's asking you for personal information? Check your bank and credit card accounts weekly. You can set up something called, like, for instance, Money Monday. And every Monday you check your accounts, your retirement accounts, your banking accounts, your savings accounts, and see how much damage you caused in spending over the weekend and what you have before you start out for the upcoming week. I call it Money Monday. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, stop and verify. We have internal intuition. We're old enough now, we've been through enough now to we get that feeling that just something just doesn't seem right. Don't let it pass. Stop and verify. Some key takeaways from this presentation, and that is you don't need to be afraid of technology. Small adjustments equal big protection. And your phone already has powerful safety tools. You may see some apps available for download or for sale on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Most of the time, they will say that it's free, but it's not actually free. Once you get over to the website and take a look at whatever's being offered, it's going to cost something. And so you now know that your phone already has some security settings built in right there in the phone. And so before you invest in outside sources, take a look at the videos that you can use to set up these privacy settings in your phone with tools that are available. When in doubt, pause, verify, and never, ever, ever click in fear. Never, ever click in fear. Now, before I wrap up this presentation, which really went a little bit faster than I thought that it would, I'd like to remind you that all 12 smartphone security setting videos, 6 for the iPhone and 6 for the Android, were created especially for you. They're there so you can easily go back, watch, read, and follow along at your own pace after the webinar. So now is a perfect time to take a few simple steps to add extra protection to your smartphone and feel more confident using it every day. This presentation will also be available on the website for your convenience. Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone, we have a few questions, so give me just a second. And I got the wrong screen. Never fails. There we go. There we are. Okay. And if you have any more questions, feel free to type them in the question box. We'll try and take them. We have some time, so this is good. Can you see the question, Jacqueline?
Let me move this over. So, what would be considered to be an essential app that needs location services always on? I'm not sure about always on, but if you travel your Google map, the map would be one that you would want the location turned on so that you would know where you are as the starting point and how to get to wherever it is that the destination happens to be. So that would be one, the Google map. Can you explain what and how a password manager works? There are apps, password apps that you can download. Some of them offer free features, and then you can upgrade to the pro version and get more protection for your password listings. But also Google has password manager, where if you tell it to save the password, it will save the password in Google Manager. Now, how that works is when you go to a site that needs login credentials and you don't remember your username or you don't remember the password, before you click reset password or forgot my user ID, you can go to the security section and look up passwords in your Google account. And if you've saved passwords, that password for that website will be there. And if you've changed that password several times, it will have a list of all of the passwords for that one particular website. Then you can click on it, click on the link, and it will show you the ID and the password for that site. Now, if you've changed that password and you use that link and it doesn't work, you can either go back and try another one that's in the list, or at this point, you would have to say, I forgot my password, and you would have to reset it. So that's how the password managers work, either a paid service or using the Google Chrome browser that stores passwords if you elect to have them saved. Are password managers any good? I've heard multiple stories about them being hacked. Well, I can't answer about any particular password manager that has been hacked. So again, you have the option to change your password if you feel like your account has been compromised. You could change your password at any time. You could change your ID, I believe, on some accounts. So for instance, if I felt like my Fidelity account information, my password had been compromised, I would just simply log in and change it. There are certain things that I may not put in a password manager, such as my finances. I may elect to manually control that myself. That would be my advice. Where can I view the instructions from this video? On this video will be available on the ncro.org website and also on the NCRO YouTube channel.
Well, that's the last of our questions. Jacqueline, I want to thank you for taking the time to put this together. I think it was very rewarding. We had just over 100 people.
Is there
on the
another
webinar,
question, Dale?
That's the last of the questions that I've got, Jacqueline. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. The minute we say we're done, we're not done.
Okay.
Give me a second. I got to copy and paste. Oh, yeah, fine. We're not sure. And you see the next one?
Yeah, it said, read a while back that password managers were going to be easier to import. Okay, I think what I'd like to do, because there are several questions about password managers, how about we add a blog article on the website about password managers? Give me an opportunity to do a little research and get some really good information for you guys, and we could post that as a blog on the website.
I think that's an excellent idea. Thank you. Okay. Anybody have any other questions aside from the password manager? Oops. Yeah, got a checkbox on a good idea to do the blog.
Cool.
Give it another second or two, because I know I don't type. I certainly don't type as fast as I used to. On the other hand, my mouth goes faster than my brain most of the time. But meanwhile, okay.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this one last thing, Dale, because we got just a little bit of time. Doing these videos and talking about cybersecurity for the NCRO members was very important for me. I had a client, I'll share this. Matter of fact, there's a blog post on the website that talked about $42,000 being taken. I had a client who received a text message that he thought was from his bank, and it had a telephone number for him to call. And he called that number without getting an answer. And then after a while, he felt it was a little suspicious, and he decided to go to his bank to see his bank officer. They didn't have anything suspicious. And so he went back to his office, and then he decided to call his other bank. For some reason, the cybersecurity or the cyber scammers had linked that phone number to allow them to log into his bank account and take $42,000 by changing his password, by changing account information. And I don't believe he was able to get it all back, but there are some systems, some security processes in place at your financial institutions that may assist you with identity theft and scammers who take money. And so these videos that were created, especially for you guys, is a way for you to protect yourself on your phone, but also by using some common sense in terms of if it doesn't feel right, it may not be right. So thank you, Dale, for allowing me to make this presentation about cybersecurity for smartphones. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, and thank you. Whoops, went too fast. There we go. That's what I wanted. Oh, it's a quick one. Is it best to never do money transactions on your phone?
Well, now I do money transactions on my phone, but I also use a VPN, and I will go to an incognito window on my phone. But I turn on the VPN.
Yeah, we're finding a lot of times in the US, if you turn a VPN on, your bank doesn't like that because it thinks that it's a potentially a spoof going on. So
yeah, if you turn on the VPN and you find that you are locked out of a website, then you have to turn the VPN off to get to that particular site. That's when I would suggest that you use an incognito window.
Fair enough. Any other questions out there? Well, I will say with that, we will bring the webinar to a close. Thank you all for attending, and hopefully you picked up a few insights And as Jacqueline said, we'll have the video out on our YouTube channel, and she will also post the little videos that she included within her presentation for everybody to take a look at. Have a wonderful day and Happy New Year. Stay safe.